Hello, everyone. This is Matthew, the host of the Hill to Die On podcast. Thank you for watching our first pilot episode. This is a quick editor's note that I'm putting at the beginning just to state some things for the record. If you don't really care about that, I'm planning on making some timestamps in the description because I know not everybody has the time to watch a full 2-hour podcast, let alone 5 minutes in the day. So you can go down below and skip ahead to whatever section you're interested in. Now, for the rest of you, here's my quick little editor's note. Actually, Matthew, Matthew here from the future, quick edit on the editor's note. I was going through the final rundown, creating timestamps and stuff, and I noticed occasionally an annoying sound would pop up. It's like a low hum, sort of buzzy noise. I believe I know what the problem is, so I'll be sure to fix that for the next podcast, so I apologize for that. All right, Matthew from the past, back to you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video or link or whatever and taking the time to, at the very least, maybe check in and see what's going on. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so here are just some things. After listening to the podcast for the first time, the pilot episode, I'm thinking about, and I've talked this over with Alex, I think we're going to change a bit of the show format. Last week was particularly long for a couple of reasons, but one of the things that me and Alex wanted to cut out, and we both agreed on, was that the news section was too long, and it didn't spur much discussion. We were just stating things, and you'll see this in the podcast. We were just stating things, and we didn't really discuss it, and that was disappointing. I was hoping that would work out, but sorry, my phone just buzzed. That's just how it happens. I was hoping it would spur some discussion. Well, what are you going to do? The topics were the most fun part, I think. It definitely is going to be a bigger part of our focus moving forward. We might still keep the news around. I haven't really decided yet. I'm either going to completely shrink the news segment to just a couple of items, or I'm going to completely get rid of it and just occasionally talk about it whenever it just comes up, like we also did in the show, in between either news segments or topics or whatever. So I think I'm going to get rid of that. The release schedule, I don't remember if I mentioned it in the video. I don't think I did. I should probably know that I just listened to the entire podcast and edited it. Oh, that's a sentence. So I don't believe we mentioned it. I think for a release schedule, I would like to at some point do it every week, but just getting into the groove of things, figuring out how I want the format and all that, when I'm going to take time to edit, or record, not film, stuff like that. Maybe in the future one time we'll film, but it's going to be about every other week, and maybe at one point we will get every week, but for now, expect it like every other week. For editing, we are going to, I mentioned this in the podcast as well, I'm not going to edit much. I'm just going to get awkward pauses out of there, pauses that are far too long. I'm going to edit those out. And in the future, I plan on barely editing any of the content. In this episode, there were a couple of awkward things, or like bathroom breaks, or things that just didn't sound right, that I ended up saying, it's better to not make a fool of ourselves or give people the wrong impression about X, Y, and Z or whatever for various reasons, and I took it out. In the future, I won't be doing that as often. I'd like to really stick true to the core concept of us discussing things and there being no edits. I also apologize for the film rant in the middle of the in the podcast. That was a bit unnecessary. And there were some things I had to edit out about that. Yeah, it just kind of came out of the blue, and it kind of felt like the podcast kind of slowed to a halt, especially if you don't know what I'm talking about. So I apologize for that. I'll try to avoid that in the future. I also want to apologize for redlining the audio a few times. in my topic discussion, which I personally thought was the funnest part of the episode. I did get passionate a few times, and I yelled into the mic and redlined the audio. And as funny as that moment was, I'm sure there was one part in particular I couldn't really save. that just it was bad. So I apologize for that. Also, to bring it back to things that slowed down the podcast. Sorry, that was a sticky note I have of just notes I want to discuss. Looking at pictures was a bad idea. Also, that also slowed down the podcast. What are some other notes that I have here that I want to mention? I said I was going to remove an ad, but I left it in because I thought it was pretty funny. There's some dark humor in there, and I didn't really explain it in the podcast because, I'm in the mindset of just talking to my friend who already knows me. I like to be facetious sometimes and have some dark humor sometimes. I'm not like some fucking edgelord or something, but like, every once in a while I like to, make a joke that's funny just because of how, like, the shock value, quote unquote, and you'll see that once or twice in there. Like I joke about nuking Russia. Like, obviously, I don't think we should nuke Russia, but, it's just outlandish. And I thought it was funny. In the future, I'd like to make the podcasts just an hour. I don't want to do 2-hour episodes, especially with me cutting out almost entirely the news segment. Hopefully that cuts the rundown time in half, because believe me, it's a pain in the ass for me to edit, and if I don't think it's going to be enjoyable for the audience, I mean, unless I get some feedback, which, by the way, I would more than appreciate some feedback. Whatever part you listen to, please provide some feedback. I would love to hear from anybody what you guys think about any segment of the show. I definitely plan on reducing the hour and making it just an hour. Reducing a hour and just making it an hour. So it's more digestible, way more digestible. And it'll just be like 2-3 topics. Yeah, I hope you guys, I think that's about it. I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. It was a bit rough in some areas, but I really, really enjoyed making it, despite some of the tough work that went along with it. And I hope that we can make this a regular occurrence, and I hope you stick around to see us improve. I know some bits were awkward in there, and I mean, we hope to get better. But I had some laughs, especially towards the end. So, like I said, made the SoundCloud, made the YouTube, and I also ended up making a Twitter and Instagram for the podcast, where I guess for right now, I think I'll just be using the Instagram and Twitter just to post, hey, there's an episode out, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Maybe in the future we'll do some other content, maybe behind the scenes stuff. Nothing really serious. I don't plan on using it at the moment, other than as a platform to just let people know. I'd like to not spam my personal account too often with, hey, we released an episode. So for the Instagram, the Instagram name is The Hill to Die On. It's all lowercase and it's all together. No underscores, dashes, or whatever. And that's, again, The Hill to Die On. It'll have the podcast logo and it'll say podcast. It'll have a link to the YouTube channel. And it'll say A Hill to Die On is a conversational podcast that covers a variety of topics. And the same thing for the Twitter. It's The Hill to Die On. I think on Twitter it matters less whether it's capital or lowercase or whatever. Not capital, I'm sorry, uppercase. Sorry, I'm being a dingus. But just in case you want to know, it's every first word in every first letter in every word, is uppercase for that one. And it'll say the same thing, link to the YouTube channel, the whole shebang. And the SoundCloud, if you prefer to listen to it on SoundCloud, is just A Hill to Die On. We will look into eventually moving it over to things like Spotify and all that jazz. But for right now, we're just doing YouTube and SoundCloud. That's what I know. That's what I'm going to upload to. Especially if nobody, gives a rat's ass about my podcast, then yeah, I'm going to just upload to whatever I want to. But if you guys really have a preferred platform, in the event that that's a thing, reach out and I'll definitely move it to wherever you want to listen to it to. Sorry. I think that's about it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I also messed up a pretty bad math question during the course of the podcast. Please don't judge me. I really have no excuse. Just please don't judge me. And on said podcast, I want to give a huge shout out to my beautiful girlfriend Jasmine. I really, really, really couldn't have done this without her. The artwork by her, I love it, and I look forward to keep working with her because I think her art style is phenomenal. I think she's a great graphic designer, and she's definitely the real deal. If you want, you can go follow her. I encourage it, especially her art page. She posts her recreational stuff, mainly work related and school stuff. But her main page is JRT Jasmine. It's JRT and then Jasmine with a Z and a Y. So JAZMYNE. JRT Jasmine, and it's all lowercase. And then her art page, which is probably the one I recommend you follow if you want to look at her artwork, is JRT Designs. So it's the same format, JRT, and then Designs, just Designs. It's all lowercase. It'll say her name, blue icon, and it shows all her work and stuff. I think Jasmine is a phenomenal artist. Also happens to be my girlfriend, so, like that too. But, huge shout out to Jasmine. I really appreciate her working and helping me with the designs and stuff, and helping me figure out some things about the podcast. Oh, and also another huge shout out to, of course, my parents. Without them, this podcast wouldn't have been possible, honestly. They provided me with most of the equipment, and I was able to put my journalistic training to use. So, huge thank you to my parents for the equipment. I think that's it. I honestly think that's it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the show. Please give your feedback. Yeah, and this is all just a work in progress. We're gonna see how this podcast goes. Yeah, so encourage you to use the timestamps. I don't know if I'll be able to get it on SoundCloud. Definitely will put it on YouTube. I'll put it in the description for YouTube, and you can jump around and look at whatever you care about, and just give me your feedback on anything. Thank you so much for listening. I really, really, really appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Matthew Rios, and this is the very first episode of A Hill to Die On. I'm with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Alessandro Comai.
That's
me.
The astronomically gifted. I wrote that, I posted that.
Oh, thank you.
It came to me one day while I was sitting here thinking about the podcast.
Uh-huh.
I was just sitting at my desk, and I was like, I want to give people nicknames. Okay. Because that's just like, well, I'll get to that in a second. This is the A Hill to Die On podcast. This is going to be sort of a discussion topic-based podcast where me and Alex, I call him Alex, will go through various news and things that we want to discuss and just have a conversation. This is just going to be a conversation-based show. Think of like two idiots running The View, something like that. And yeah, and if you, real quick, I'll say that my inspiration for this podcast is definitely from Kinda Funny, I guess an entertainment company on YouTube, and Colin's Last Stand, or Side Quest, Sacred Symbols, stuff like that. I heavily was influenced and borrowed, maybe too much, on their podcast formats and stuff like that, and how I want to structure this podcast. So I want to address that. And to bring this back around to the nicknames, I was influenced by it was then called the Game Over Greggy Show, where he introduces all of his friends with nicknames. Okay. So there's like the Pure One, Tim Geddes. There's the producer/seducer, where my shirt comes from, Nick Scarpino, and stuff like that. So I wanted one for you.
Oh, thank you.
And that's so like sweet. The astronomically gifted.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I'll try to pass physics this summer. So we can get it to stick.
Right.
What are you, real quick? Do you have a nickname
the
for
host,
yourself?
The host doesn't give a nickname for himself. If you would
okay.
like to give me one,
Ooh.
feel free. But the host doesn't get a nickname.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I'll think about it.
All right. Yeah, I think that's it about the basic premise of the podcast. We're gonna give it a go. The basic format right now is going to be, we're gonna start off intro, talk about what we've been doing this past week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then we're gonna get into some news. Normally it'll be more up to date, but because this is the first episode, I've pulled a couple of stories that are a little bit older, a couple weeks older, but I think they're important, so they're in there. And then we're gonna go into something that I'll introduce when the time comes, and then after that, we're going to talk about topics, which is the most open-ended part of the show. And yeah, okay. I think that's about it on terms of that. I think we should introduce ourselves now.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Alex, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Alessandro. I am a quote-unquote junior at the University of Missouri. Because I switched to my physics major too late, and now I'm behind. Is there anything else about me? Do I have other aspects of my personality?
I guess. I guess because this is gonna eventually at some point, and during the show, there will be some controversial, at least I quote unquote controversial stuff.
Okay.
So I guess we should also discuss like maybe some basic broad viewpoints.
Oh yeah.
Like for example, it's safe to say you're Democratic, right?
Yeah, pretty liberal.
Yeah, pretty liberal. So I guess just stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty liberal across the board. I love space.
It's important.
Yeah, cats are cool.
Cats are very cool.
Yeah. It's pretty much my Tinder bio. So, that's me. Unless I should say more. No.
Say reveal however much you want to reveal.
Okay.
We're just trying to, let the listener, all 0 of them, let the listener know where we're coming from and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that's all I can think of. Yeah, I'm super into space. I love astronomy. Gonna be studying physics and astronomy for the foreseeable future.
Surprisingly handy man you are, Alessandro. Like, yeah, I think you don't give yourself enough credit.
Thank you.
You're very handy.
I can do things like help lift tables and lift chairs.
And make tire seats.
Ah, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Well, like I said, I'm Matthew Rios. I am from New York. If I had to pick a side, I'd say Republican, but really I'm more in the middle. I lean right, libertarian views. I don't like being told what the fuck to do. Excuse my French, but I'm not religious. I'd say I'm agnostic at the moment, but really I think it's all up in the air. I think that is about it. Yeah, just basic political views. I lean more right. I'm from New York. And yeah, I'm in college. Oh yeah, I'm in college. I am also a quote unquote junior. And I'm studying journalism right now. Yeah. And I like a lot of different things.
And you fold your pizza.
Yes, the only way to eat your pizza. But maybe that's a topic for another day.
It's too controversial for the first episode.
Yeah. Well, when we really, if this podcast really gets going, maybe I will invite a few of the separate factions.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have a giant discussion on the topic. Alex, what have you been doing this week?
Oh boy.
What's been going on in your life?
Pretty much nothing. Oh, what happened? Oh yeah, I got the most exciting thing that's happened this week is probably the photo enlarger that I got from Goodwill.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I guess I already brought it up, so there's not much to really talk about, but yeah, I got it for $15, which was fantastic considering.
Remember.
Yeah.
The viewer hasn't heard you talk about it.
That's true.
Or the listener, I should say.
So yeah, I guess this is new then, but yeah, I got photo enlargers usually run from $200 to $300 as far as I can tell for used ones. I mean, they're all pretty much used, but yeah, this was $15 and it works, and it's a brand I've never heard of, but
it gets the job. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, it gets the job done.
Does it, and you said it was for film, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So it's got like a little 35 millimeter size slot. Can probably get others to fit bigger film sizes, but yeah, it doesn't have the wooden base plate that like all enlargers need. So I have to go to the Home Depot. Can I say that?
Yeah, of course. You think Home Depot's gonna copyright claim this?
I don't know. I don't want to like not endorsing the Home Depot, but also I guess I could unofficially do that. I don't go to hardware stores much, so I'm not going to endorse.
Home Depot, pay me. I'm advertising.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll get some wood. And yeah, man, I think I found a way to talk for quite a long time about something that's not that exciting.
Well, that's all right.
But yeah. Oh, and I figured out that I think my allergy medication is giving me headaches. Because
the one you can't properly do.
Okay. Which I until recently couldn't properly do. Yes, it's like the nasal inhaler thing, right? That like you're supposed to partially stick it up your nose, one nostril, and cover the other nostril, and then squirt and inhale, right? Like I was sticking it all the way up at the nostril and not covering the other one. And so I was, it wasn't going in. And so I finally started using it right, and it takes like 2 weeks to kick in. And then as soon as it kicks in, my allergies go away, but now I've got headaches all the time. And apparently that's a common symptom. So now I'm 2 days clean, my medication, the headaches are subsiding. So I guess I can't win this summer.
Yeah, I guess you gotta take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. This week I've been doing fuck all. I really couldn't tell you. I was trying to think like, all right, I guess now it's time for me to chime in, and then I was like, wait, I haven't done anything.
There's nothing.
The most significant thing I think that's happened to me this week is I watched that movie, The Perfection, and I guess I can talk about it now. I was thinking about talking about it later. I'm going to pull up the article real quick because I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to get super into it. Let me start off by saying this movie, The Perfection, okay, has some flaws, but I really came to enjoy it. I'm going to sound like a movie snob right now for a second, but I really came to enjoy it. There were a couple of issues with like the pacing and how it came about. Actually, I have some screenshots on my phone that I wanted to look at as well, just to quickly touch on.
So we can agree it probably should have been called The Imperfection.
You know, as ironic as that is, yeah. The movie doesn't turn out to be what you think it's going to be. All the trailers make it seem like it's going to be like... I can't even say without spoiling it. I've been telling Alex and a few of my other friends, especially Michael, to go see it for a while now. And again, it has some flaws, but I really, really, really like it. I really enjoy it.
By go see it, do you mean like in theaters? Is it out right now?
No. Okay. I think it's a Netflix original film, either that or like Netflix bought the rights and. But it is out right now on Netflix, and it's not a very long movie. It's 90 minutes, I think. Hour 30. So the movie's a little weird, and there are some things I didn't really like about it, but I came to accept it a little more because now that I found it on my phone, the director and like the other like producers really like some styles from South Korean filmmaking. Things like Old Boy and The Handmaiden, specifically Park Chan. I'm gonna fuck that name up. Park Chan Wook. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but but they used a lot of styles from South Korean filmmaking, and it made more sense, and I grew to like appreciate it more, just how it went about. Anyway, let me get to what ticked me off. All right, I was a little confused by the ending because the ending's a little trippy. Okay. And I looked up some reviews. I found this article by Vox, and me and Vox have a lovely track record together. I love them. An article by, and I apologize, I am gonna mess this name up. Aja Romano. Apologies if I messed it up. Netflix's The Perfection learned all the wrong lessons from blank. I can't say it because it's a spoiler for the movie. But Alex.
Mm-hmm. Ah, okay. Yeah. This is interesting.
So, I'm sorry, audience. Watch the movie. All right? But my main issue is she goes about this. I can't delve into it too much because I'll be here for hours. All right? But she basically goes and says that the movie is a problem because it's told from the typical fetishized male perspective. And it's a fantasy film. When I don't know how in dear God you can think that. Okay? I can't.
Unfathomable?
It's I'm telling you, it's really hard because I have a filter on my mouth, because I don't want to spoil the movie, but I don't know how you can think that. There's so many other problems with the movie. Maybe the pacing, or how sometimes the director treats the audience, or like how the whole film treats the audience like it's dumb. Like there are twists and turns that happen in this movie where I was like, oh shit, like wow, and I felt smart for picking up on that and like going, oh man, I noticed this, right? And then later in the film, it does a very stereotypical like freeze frame, and it rewinds back time and it shows you what happened. And I was like, I'm not stupid. I don't know. So there are other problems with the film, but this is not one of them. This is absolutely not one of the problems with the film. I
love how vague this rant is because you can't spoil the movie.
Yeah, it's not about this movement. All right, and this might give it away a little bit. But there's a very famous movement that has come out, all right, on social media and all over the United States, okay? And in an interview, the main actresses, in the movie said that this film was actually conjured up pre-movement. So it has nothing to do with this. I'm going to calm myself down a little bit. But your entire article is about this? It has not. This movie came about before this movement. And then obviously it was released afterwards, but that's how movies work. It's years before. It's like with video games. Like there are trends in video games that happen, and people start developing games when trends are hot, and then by the time they release, sometimes those trends have died. So listen.
So you think the author is wrongfully complaining, like, oh, they missed the message, they missed this cultural message when it was actually wasn't going to hit it to start with. Not
even that, because it does still hit on those themes, and I'm sorry, this is very vague. It still hits on those themes, but she's painting it out to be a problem, or like it didn't do it correctly, and maybe I'm ignorant to the fact, or to the perspective. But like, what other beat is it supposed to hit? I don't understand. And like, it talks about it like it's the wrong perspective, but I didn't pick up on that at all.
Okay.
I don't know. Again, it could be because of my perspective, and it is recommended to view it a second time. So I would like to at some point watch it a second time, and like with the lens of what I know is going to happen. So maybe we'll see. But I just wanted to quickly talk about that. I'm sorry, I spent way too much time on that. That was ridiculous.
It's okay, it's interesting. It makes me want to see the movie now.
I think it's a good film despite its flaws. I really do believe that. And after seeing the headline, that's not a movie for me. Theoretically, like, I would just get mad at that. But I didn't. I really actually enjoyed it, and I really thought it was a unique film. It was interesting. At least from a filmmaking standpoint, and from like a way the story's presented. Yeah, I really liked it.
Okay.
I really liked it. I also have a celebrity crush on Logan Browning.
Logan Browning.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
The one of the co-stars. Sorry. All right. We're getting
into it early.
I said to Alex, I didn't say it yet. This first episode, I would like to have some hopefully mature conversations about some controversial topics. Yeah, every once in a blue moon. A hill to die on is, a saying. Mm-hmm. I never explained the name.
Oh,
okay, yeah. So, a hill to die on. I don't know if you've. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was pretty universal, but
I don't think I had ever heard the phrase before coming from California. I'm from California is another thing about me, I guess.
Did you say that at the beginning? Or?
I don't think I did.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
yeah.
To reiterate, from California,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Alex was just gonna say that he's never heard of the saying. I thought it was pretty common, but like when you're in an argument and you're really staunchly defending the position, and you say, "Oh, this is my hill to die on," and I had used it a couple of times when I want to either jokingly or seriously wanting to let the other person know, like I'm gonna fight for this position, like this is my hill to die on. Anyway, eventually when I tossed around the idea of starting a podcast a couple of years ago, it came up as one of the names, and eventually I kind of took to it, and I just decided, all right, I gotta just pick a name, and I picked this one, and The Hill. I like it also because you can abbreviate it, just The Hill.
Yeah,
it's called The Hill.
It's a good name.
Yeah, I think so. All right, sorry, I got totally sidetracked. Oh, I was gonna say, because this is more of a topical based show, and so sometimes things are going to come up because I don't really want any filters. Things are going to come up. They're going to be controversial, and I think we should be okay with that. But the first episode, I wanted to be less controversial, but we might dip there. We might dip there. But all right, Alex. Are you ready to get into the news?
Ready, spaghetti.
This news is from the past 2-3 weeks. Some important things happening around mainly the U.S., but some bits and pieces of the world.
We got news and olds.
And olds. God damn it. That was good. I like that.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Let us get into the news. Here is our news from the front. You like that? Because we're on a hill. Military.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
this is great.
Jasmine's probably gonna let me know that's crap. All right. Here's our first news of the day. At least 11 people have died in the past 10 days on Mount Everest as of May 26th. This news I have gotten from Fox, so the subreddit R News, and news.com was where I got the video. That Alex can look at if he wants to while I read. 11 people have died in the past 10 days on Mount Everest due to overcrowding. People at the top cannot move around those climbing up, making them stuck in a death zone. In this zone, people are likely to be at risk and die from altitude sickness. And altitude sickness is caused by low amounts of oxygen at high elevation and can lead to headaches, vomiting, shortness of breath, and mental confusion. This has been one of the deadliest climbing seasons on Everest, according to reports. And at least some deaths this season seem to have been avoidable, according to experts. The problem hasn't been avalanches, blizzards, or high winds. Veteran climbers and industry leaders blame having too many people on the mountain, as Nepal has also issued permits to 381 people to climb Everest, which the government says is the greatest number ever. You're watching the video right now.
Yeah, this is...
It's ridiculous.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I've seen pictures, but the video is crazier.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's an article in the New York Times that I also pulled from that I forgot to mention, where they interviewed, I think, like this doctor or something from like Arizona, I believe, and he had to step over a woman dying
Oh my God.
to get to the top, because when you're at that height, you can't help people because of the altitude sickness. At risk of you yourself getting altitude sickness, and
Wow, that's crazy.
It's
oh my
brutal
gosh.
stuff.
Yeah, jeez.
And you would think, like, I don't know if I thought 381 was a small number, but like if that's too many people, maybe we shouldn't hand out that many passes.
Yeah,
Like,
I actually read recently that I think they were reconsidering their like admissions criteria or something like that. Like the article said that I don't remember what I was reading, but they said it was used to be relatively easy, I think, to get like to climb Mount Everest. Like there weren't a whole lot of checks that they made.
You just needed the checks. You just needed the checks. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they're thinking of, I don't know, kind of starting to verify that you've actually climbed mountains before and that you're not likely to die.
Right.
Yeah, this is crazy. I've been hearing about this.
Yeah, it's
unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. It's very sad too. I mean,
Yeah.
like, can you imagine, like, just, oh man, I'm finally gonna climb like Mount Everest. Like, who can say that? Well, evidently a lot of people, but like, 381. But a decent, not that many people. Only a few couple, thousand or something like that. Don't quote me on those numbers. But yeah, can you imagine, like, you're just gonna go there and you're gonna like, oh man, I'm gonna climb Everest. This is gonna be so awesome. And then you have to wait in line like it's a fucking McDonald's and to get to Everest. Not only that, and you'll die on the way up.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
And see people dying and
see
not
people
be able
dying.
to help
Yeah,
them.
and not be able to help them.
Wow.
That must be one of the trippiest things about Everest.
Yeah, all the bodies.
Yeah.
Because isn't there like a trail of like, or aren't there bodies like off to the sides where like they can't recover them?
Yeah,
or something?
I forgot what side it is because I know I forgot what the other side is, the name of it, but there's the Nepal side, and then there's the China side. I think is the other side. I don't remember, but I know one of the sides has a lot of dead bodies.
Okay.
On it, and there are a couple of trails that have dead bodies on it because they, like I said, you can't help people at that height. You would be at risk of you yourself getting exhausted, then passing out, and like I read, it can lead to headaches, vomiting, shortness of breath, mental confusion, and shortness of breath already with lack of oxygen.
Yeah, that's a bad combo.
Yeah, it's a bad combo. Oh.
Wow.
All right, on to the second piece of news. Alabama is passing a near-total abortion ban. This article comes from two articles from CNN and one from the Washington Post. Also, I quickly wanted to say, I forgot to do this at the top. My little summaries are taken from bits and pieces of other news articles. Please go support journalism. Go support these news websites and go check them out. Go check out these articles. All right. The state of Alabama has passed the most restrictive abortion law in the nation, which could punish doctors who perform abortions with life in prison. Alabama joins legislators in several other states in putting forth laws that restrict abortion. The law only allows for two exceptions. The first exception is to avoid a serious health risk to the unborn child's mother for ectopic pregnancy, or a pregnancy in which the fertilized egg implants outside the uterus. The other is if the unborn child has a lethal anomaly. Some Democratic lawmakers reintroduced an amendment to exempt rape and incest victims, but the motion failed. Many believe this will eventually lead to a Supreme Court case that will challenge the decision of Roe v. Wade. And for the uninitiated, the Supreme Court case of Roe v. Wade established that the U.S. Constitution, through the 14th Amendment, provides a fundamental right to privacy that protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose whether or not to have an abortion. Organizations, including the American Civil Liberties Union and Planned Parenthood, have filed lawsuit against Alabama for this law. In the wake of all this, President Trump and other Republicans have distanced themselves from the new state laws, though emphasizing a still pro-life stance.
Is that the?
Yeah, it's the end of it. Sorry, okay. I'm just turning the page preemptively. This is very crazy. Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot I can say about this other than I don't think they should do this. Mm-hmm. And like, even if, I mean, this is one of the few things I lean left on. Like I am like the saying goes, I'm pro-life through pro-choice. Like you can't, and even then I'm not a woman, so it's not even my decision to make. But like, I don't know, like, even if you're pro-life, like, you're not gonna exempt rape victims and incest victims, like that.
It's really extreme, and I think it's one thing to have a discussion about, like, like, I feel like most abortion discussions revolve around, like, I don't know, second or third trimester or something like that, but, like, and all these states, I mean, I think Louisiana passed one today, and Missouri passed one, a couple days ago. It's been all over the place, and just right from the get-go, like right from conception, or 8-week bans. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I I mean, if I was put in that situation, I wouldn't know what to do, but
yeah,
man, that is still rough. You still should give people that, that choice.
Yeah. 99 years for a doctor performing an abortion. I mean, you can get less for murder. Like
you can.
I see people on Twitter pointing out all the time that, like, the like a 14-year-old girl is going to have to, be forced to give birth to a child from rape, right? And her if her doctor performs an abortion on her, he's going to jail for longer than the rapist. Like, that is just...
Yeah, it's...
oh, my God.
Like, I understand, like, if you have that, like... Because I was once on that side, like... I've obviously told my friends and Alex, but for context, I used to be a very, very, very staunch conservative. I would hit... I would hit all the check boxes on just everything what you think a stereotypical conservative is. I would hit it. It was very lonely in New York State, but yeah, actually Upper New York is fairly conservative. It's really the city that makes it blue. But regardless, that's not the point. I used to be very pro-life, but I mean, man, even if you're pro-life, like, I don't know. I think just I'm very much a freedom guy. Like, I don't like being told what to do. I'm very much a libertarian, and I think you can't choose for people, man. If they want to do that, let them do it.
Yeah. The mother is, or whoever is bearing the child, of course, is growing a human being. It's not, whether or not, wherever you think it becomes a human being, they're the one creating it, they're creating life. I think they have the right to stop along the way.
Yeah.
I wish I had more articulate thoughts on this. I've just been angry on Twitter, and that's doesn't translate, I guess. But
I mean, if we can always come back to it on, like, one of the topics, because the topics will be more in depth.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Number 3 on the news. Washington State is the first state to legalize human composting as a burial alternative. This comes from the Seattle Times. Washington is now the first state in the U.S. to legalize human composting. The law, which takes effect May 2020, recognizes natural organic reduction and liquid cremation as acceptable means of disposition for human bodies. I didn't bother looking that up. I'm sorry. I'm not going to explain that one to you. I didn't feel like I needed to.
Real quick, I think Disposition for Human Bodies is a great band name.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not a metal fan?
No, well, actually...
Oh?
All right, maybe,
Oh, there we go, yeah.
Maybe it's like some deathcore or something like that.
This is interesting.
Yeah, I just put it there real quick as an interesting tidbit. I never thought you couldn't make yourself a human compost, but yeah.
Sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, I'm just gonna say
we took a death and dying course a couple semesters ago, and we actually talked about this. I don't remember that much about it, but I'm actually might be mixing it up with something else, but there were a whole bunch of different ways to die that we talked about. One of them was like, the one where you get eaten by, like, birds and stuff, the sky burials, and
sky burial.
Yeah, it's a thing.
You get eaten by birds.
Mm-hmm. Your family just takes you out to a cliff at altitude, or so. I mean, it's usually people in the mountains.
That sounds crazy to me.
But yeah, they just pick you to the bone. You go back to nature. So I guess that's similar to this. But there was also another one that was like, they put you in this weird, like, sack, and then they put you underneath a sapling, and you help grow a tree. So I guess that's kind of like this too.
That's kind of like human compost.
Yeah, like this is. I guess it's environmentally friendly.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm all about giving people choice, not telling people what to do. You know.
There you go.
Yeah. Good on them. All right. Number 4, Mississippi lawmaker accused of punching wife in the face for not undressing quickly enough. I shouldn't laugh at that.
Oh man.
I actually don't recognize where I pulled this from.
AJC?
AJC.com. Yeah, apologies, but go support them. Republican State Representative of Mississippi, Douglas, McLeod?
Is that McLeod?
You think it's McLeod?
I think it's McLeod. I don't know. Douglas It's
MCLEOD.
Well,
if it's McLeod, that is unfortunate.
I mean, he's a bit of an asshole, so I think it's okay to mispronounce his name.
All right. Fair enough. All right, God damn it, I'll do McLeod. God damn it. All right, Douglas McLeod.
This is the wrong article to be laughing on. We can say McLeod if it doesn't make you laugh.
Right. I'm just afraid of getting it wrong. I don't like getting people's names wrong.
That's fair.
Was arrested after his... I'm sorry. Douglas McLeod was arrested after his wife said he punched her because she didn't remove her clothes fast enough for his liking.
Jesus Christ.
When deputies arrived at the representative's house, the wife said he was intoxicated and he had snapped because she undressed too slowly when he wanted sex. Authorities charged the lawmaker with misdemeanor domestic violence. He was later released from the George County Jail after posting bail. Other state lawmakers in Mississippi are looking for McLeod to step down.
Will he?
Is the question.
That's the big question.
Yeah. I to make it clear, I'm not laughing at the fact that she got punched in the face. Although it is laughable how stupid that is. Like, how slow was she going? And do you still even punch them? No, you don't. You don't punch somebody in the face for taking their time.
Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very ridiculous.
I don't know. I haven't read up on this recently, so I don't know if he's actually stepped down or not. But I'm scared he won't, and things will be fine.
I would be interested. I think that's one of the ones that actually happened recently, so I don't know.
Okay.
I would be interested to hear that.
Good God.
Yeah, he was drunk, but still, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's unacceptable.
Very unacceptable.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that other than just wow.
Yeah, I was put in there more for its interesting factor than anything. Excuse me. Number 5. Ford will lay off 7,000 white-collar workers. This comes from CNN. Ford is cutting 7,000 jobs, or about 10% of its salaried staff, as part of a cost-cutting effort that the company says will save Ford about $600 million a year. The jobs being cut are mainly management positions and not factory floor jobs. The terminations will be completed by the end of August. About 2,400 of the job cuts are in North America, and 1,500 of the positions will be eliminated through a voluntary buyout offer. According to CEO Jim Hackett, the move is also an effort to cut bureaucracy and flatten the management structure within the company. Ford has been making cuts over the past several months as part of a massive restructuring as it faces pressure to improve its profitability. Maybe make better frames.
Oh, damn.
I actually don't know anything about cars. I don't. This is just what I've heard. I've heard Ford, Jeep have terrible frames.
Really?
If anybody knows cars and wants to correct me, feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to keep spouting this.
All right.
Anyway, yeah.
Ford?
It's a real shame.
Don't sponsor us. We don't want your money.
Unless you're going to give us a car. In that case, I'll be a Ford shill all day. My dad owns a Ford truck. It's a beautiful truck.
Ooh.
Beautiful truck. For the news, though,
unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate to hear that all these people are getting laid off. Hearts out to them and stuff. I guess it's a good thing that it's managerial positions as opposed to, I believe the term is blue collar workers. Because I know for if you're management, usually you have more mobility, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can afford to be jobless for a second.
I mean, I don't know much about the situation, but it is a shame. It's a shame this happened, and let's hope it works out. All right, ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. Number 6. Maine's governor has signed a bill making public schools unable to use Native Americans and their symbols as mascots. This again comes from CNN. This is going to happen a lot. A lot of this is from CNN. Maine's governor, Janet Mills, has signed a bill making the state the first to prohibit public schools, colleges, and universities in Maine from using Native American symbols as school icons. The law will not allow schools from having or adopting a name, symbol, or image that depicts or refers to a Native American tribe, individual, custom, or tradition, and that is used as a mascot, nickname, logo, letterhead, or team name of the school. What a sentence that is.
Yeah.
I put this in here because I think this is somewhat important. I am one of the assholes who... That's a good way to start a sentence.
Uh-huh.
I am one of the assholes who's not terribly upset about like teams like the Chiefs or the Redskins or what's that one in baseball? I think it's Cleveland Reds, maybe.
I'm no authority on sports, so
right.
I don't know, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I think their mascot, where they have that cartoonish grinning Indian or Native American, like that. A little much, but I think like something like the Redskins. I don't know. Obviously, I have no perspective on the Native American experience, as people would say. So take my opinion with a grain of salt. But I think some sports teams don't really use it all that offensively. But I understand why they would do this ban, and I think, despite my maybe disposition on it, I do think it's an important thing for people to discuss and to look into, and I think overall it's a good thing to do, even with my disagreements on it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I would not like to be a mascot.
You wouldn't like a little. Well, I don't know, the Alessandros.
No. Okay, if it was just me, I think that's different. I think that'd be fantastic. Like I'm not good at football or anything, but if a football team was like, "Wow, we love you, you're gonna be like our mascot as a person," I'd be like, "Oh, that's great." But like if it was like,
when it was like,
I don't know what group, like people with ADHD, like we're running all over the place and catching those balls, and
that would be an interesting. Oh, you're catching those balls, huh?
Yes. I don't know, but just like, I don't know, it would be. I've never spoken to anyone who's Native American about this before, but I imagine it doesn't feel good to, I don't know, see a thing that's usually used to represent. It's usually like an animal, or a tree or an inanimate object, and to see like your identity up there, it's got to be a little uncomfortable. So I think it's good.
I guess it depends on. I agree. I think it is overall good. I guess it depends on how the school or university or whatever chooses to use that symbol and that icon and how they go about it. Like I mean, I guess that's about it.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right. Maine's coming back for 7. Maine
Maine was here before?
Yeah, number 6.
Oh, this is Maine again. Okay.
Yeah, Maine again. Maine again on news number 7. Maine has barred residents from opting out of immunizations for religious or philosophical reasons. And, well, wouldn't you know, comes from CNN.
Oh, look at that. It's edition.cnn.com.
Yeah.
www.
A little different. Yeah. I didn't get them all from the same place.
Look at that.
Governor Mills has signed a bill into law that removes all non-medical exemptions to vaccination from the books in the state of Maine. Mills said, "It has become clear that our current laws do not adequately protect against the risks posed to Mainers." It's an interesting...
Yeah, I learned something new today.
Yeah, Mainers. The governor the governor cited an outbreak of whooping cough in Maine counties, adding that her state has the worst rate of whooping cough infection in the nation, which is interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I do think that there's nothing on the other page. I do think it's very important because kids, go out there and get your immunizations. Mm-hmm. Remember when we had the outbreak of, I think it was the measles? Mm-hmm. I think it was measles or mumps. I think
we've still. Oh, you mean Mizzou?
Yeah, Mizzou.
Yeah.
Mumps. I think it's mumps.
Oh yeah, there was mumps. I remember now.
Yeah. Oh, also, I don't think we mentioned it. We did go to Mizzou.
Yeah, University of Missouri.
Yeah.
In Columbia.
Go Tigers, as they say.
Mizzou, if you're willing to sponsor us, we like money.
Yeah, Mizzou. Hey, pay for my college. They're probably like, you academic probation. No,
thank you.
No, thank you. Right. Yeah. So, like I was saying, it is important to have your immunizations. I think this is definitely a good thing. Like, listen, like I'm very much a libertarian, as I've said multiple times already on this podcast. But that is something where it's like, hey, listen, for the betterment of all of society, you're gonna get your fucking shots.
Yeah.
you're not gonna fuck this over for the rest of us. I understand if you got some philosophical things or some religious things, you can either get out or get your shots.
Yeah. Especially with a lot of people who have like weakened immune systems, and stuff like that. Just it'd be really comforting to know that everyone is actually vaccinated and I'm not gonna, die from going to school or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to worry.
It's very important. I think more states should definitely pass a law like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I like it.
I like it too.
You got more Maine?
No more Maine. They were actually in the news a lot. Like I think it was last week.
Really?
Yeah, and I picked those two because they were very interesting. Oh, here's one that I didn't put in the news, but I will mention quickly. I don't know if it's still going on right now, but when I looked at it at the time, Oklahoma. Every county in Oklahoma was in a state of emergency because of the inclement weather recently and all the flooding. God. Apparently, just the entire state, every single county is in a state of emergency.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Stay safe, Oklahoma.
Yeah, please stay safe. Not that I know anybody. I do not wish ill upon you.
Okay.
All right, number 8. Scientists discover China has been secretly emitting banned ozone-depleting gases, and this comes from the National Post. In the 1980s, 197 countries around the world, including China, signed the Montreal Protocol, a landmark treaty designed to halt and reduce the production of chemicals used in fridges and foams that had the side effect of tearing through the Earth's ozone layer. But last year, scientists found that the global emissions of CFC-11, a chemical that can harm the ozone layer, has actually been increasing since 2013. The increase implied that someone was secretly violating the protocol, but due to device limitations, the location of the polluter could only be traced to somewhere in East Asia. Now, in a new study, scientists have found that between 40 and 60% of total global CFC-11 emissions originate from eastern China. And for those who don't know, the ozone layer is a region of Earth's stratosphere that absorbs most of the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation. And if this layer is compromised, harmful UV radiation from the sun will most likely damage all life on Earth if it gets through.
Yikes.
Yikes indeed. God damn it, China. Can we not do this?
Yeah, this is a bummer.
Yeah, the environment's already getting fucked up enough. I couldn't believe that when I read it. Like I was like 40 to 60%. Yeah,
I remember reading earlier in like the year, I guess, that a lot of them were also coming from India because a lot of old air conditioning units emit these CFCs or use them in manufacturing. I'm not sure where they come from, but yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, like, on the one hand, I understand because is it safe to say that they're going through their industrial era or is it a little post that, or?
I think, oh God, I don't know. I don't want to pull this out of my ass, but I think maybe we could say that China's still like,
they're at the very least, they're at the tail end. right? Like
yeah, they're still on, like,
and India has to be either entering it or for sure in it. Because I know India's going, at least from what I've read, I think India's going through an expansion phase right now. They're developing.
Okay. Yeah. Oh God, I'm just realizing now how little I have to say about that or know about that.
That's fine. We can bullshit. We can Monday quarterback. Yeah. I saw. I mean, I understand on the one hand, like, if you don't have the capabilities to do otherwise, but man, 40 to 60%.
Yeah.
Of the
a lot
globe.
of people in China, though.
That's for a lot of people in China.
But yeah, still, that's an outsized amount. So.
Yeah, I wonder. I didn't follow up on it too much. I probably should have, but I wonder if like there's going to be like some sanctions or something. Like I don't know if that treaties or protocols like UN backed up or something. I mean, if 197 countries, including I believe it's in the U.S., Canada, and I cut that bit out because I just thought the main point was China. Like I wonder if there's going to be some hell to pay.
I mean, it could be a non-binding treaty like the Paris Agreement, right? Which I think quite a lot of people signed on to, but technically there's no repercussions for pulling out.
Right.
Which we did. But yeah, that is a bummer.
Yeah, a big bummer. Well, we'll see if we all burn alive in radiation. All right. News number 9. The man who set himself on fire outside the White House has died, and this comes from NBC News. A man who set himself on fire near the White House has died, according to the United States Park Police. On Wednesday, authorities responded to a report of a man on fire in front of the White House. Upon arriving, officers extinguished the blaze, and the police identified the man. The man was taken to a local hospital where he died Wednesday evening. The man had been reported missing in Maryland before the incident, and although motivations behind his actions remain unknown, the investigation is still being handled by the police and looked into.
Oof. That's rest in peace. That is unfortunate. Wow.
I guess I wanted to put this in here just because there was another like interesting piece of news. Not much to say about it other than it's a shame that happened. I mean, if we don't know the motive, there's not much we can say. It's a shame. People are going crazy these days. Yeah.
You know what? I don't want to take too long on this, but we had a discussion again in the death class about whether or not, was this in the death class or was it in philosophy? No, it might have been in, I don't remember if it was in philosophy or the death class, but it was like, if someone is self-immolating, like lighting themselves on fire for protest reasons, like, do you intervene? Right?
That sounds like a philosophy class.
It was probably philosophy, but it was just, I don't know. I thought it was like, I feel like I wouldn't be able to not intervene, like if I had like a fire extinguisher on hand, right? Like it's hard to say like, no, I wouldn't. I would let them do it. But,
I mean, it's an interesting philosophy question.
Because
I think your instincts were definitely because you want to, that idea of like, you want to subconsciously, animals want to protect their own, and with humans, there's the idea of your tribe, the tribe. And, there's a part of you deep down that's like, oh, man, I got to save, I got to help maintain the tribe. I'm not going to let this person just let themselves die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I would also probably put them out.
Yeah. But it's an interesting, I don't know, it's interesting to think about because I guess it's kind of in the same vein of like, medically assisted suicide or something when that someone has this terminal illness and they have, chronic pain and they've decided that, like they do in Oregon, like I don't want to go on living and I want my doctor to help me end my life.
Do they actually have that in Oregon?
Yes, we did watch in Death Class. It was a documentary about that. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I think Oregon.
I thought they didn't allow that in the state. I
think Oregon state laws let you do it, and I guess you're not going to get in federal trouble for.
I mean, yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, although I don't know about the doctors, but
oh, that's fair.
Yeah, but I think they do. I might be wrong, but they do let you decide to die and just end your life. And so I guess I don't know. Burning is is a violent way to do it. But
Right.
you know, if we respect the right in Oregon,
You know, I just was thinking of horrific ways to die, right?
Yeah. As we do.
As you do.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, the self-emulation or whatever. But then I remember Chernobyl last night.
Oh,
we were
man.
watching.
Boy.
Shout out to Chernobyl, made by HBO, on HBO. Very good show about the Chernobyl incident. Those people who got irradiated,
yeah,
oh my God.
terrifying.
That person who looked... It's terrible. But who looked like lasagna.
Yeah, that was
Who looked...
oh, that looks so painful.
That was so messed up.
Oh my God.
He looked so bad. I mean, oh my God. I'm not one for suicide. Like, I've always jokingly told people, like, man, if like I'm in a coma, leave me in a coma. Don't take me out. If I'm on the tube, leave me on the tube. But if I was like that, man, I would be begging. Take me out. Inject me with all the morphine.
Yeah.
Take all the morphine. It was, oh my God.
Wasn't that part of the issue too? Morphine doesn't work. Your blood vessels start to fall apart.
That's right.
Yeah, it's horrible pain.
That's fucking terrible. You can't even, oh yeah, that's right. They couldn't even kill themselves.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrible. I just remembered that.
Yeah, that would be awful to go through. That's for sure.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was. I highly recommend the show. Very good stuff.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Very good. Yeah. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Item number 2 on the news, or 10, not 2. God damn it. The singer R. Kelly has been charged yet again with new counts of sexual assault and abuse.
Good Lord.
This comes from CBS. R. Kelly has been charged with 11 new felony counts of sexual abuse, some that carry a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison. The singer is scheduled to appear in court on June 6, according to CBS. In a now famous interview with CBS anchor Gayle King, I believe, Kelly said the allegations against him were all lies, and his attorney, Steve Greenberg, responded to the charges on Twitter, saying his client was recharged in an existing case. It changes nothing, Greenberg said. It's, I mean, man, talk about not catching a break. Homeboy cannot stop. He cannot stop getting tagged and back for this. Rightfully so, I might add. Don't get me wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, they've got him.
Yeah, they got him for sure. Without a doubt. Like, man, this dude... I was reading that apparently, like a Harvey Weinstein sort of situation, that, like, people have known this for years, but, like, nobody ever did anything about it.
Seriously?
Yeah, until, like,
my God.
recently.
Okay.
So, man, this dude... I mean, I don't know the details about the case, but holy shit, this person did... R. Kelly did terrible things. Terrible things.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I have not kept up with the case, so I don't know the details.
I just felt that was significant, that he got 11 more on top of what I believe is 8.
Wow.
So that's... If I'm doing my math correctly, that's 29? No.
Wait, that's 19.
19, yeah. Look at me. I'm going to school for math, obviously.
I mean, yeah. You might just be prophesizing. He gets charged with 10 more tomorrow, and
if that happens,
they call you Nostradamus.
Unfortunately for R. Kelly, yeah, I will have become a prophet.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the final piece of news, something that I felt was very important and that I'm going to need the laptop for.
This one was so big that I thought we were done with it, but it just didn't fit on the last page. So
yeah, all right.
Look at that.
When I get to this person's name, who I can't pronounce, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna play a video because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Like, not even like McLeod from earlier. I genuinely like.
Which one is it?
Yevgeny Prigozhin.
I mean, that didn't sound too bad.
I remember playing the video when I first was reading the article. Yeah.
That didn't sound bad to me, but I don't know anything.
Let's see here.
The AI I want? Well, insurance
Well, guess what? I'm not getting paid for this, IBM, so this is getting cut out of the show. I don't think so.
Okay. Do we actually have to cut that out? Can we have an ad from IBM in the show?
We theoretically could. I'm not allowing it, though. I'm not allowing it.
All right.
I might keep the audio just because it was, funny banter. I'm not, That's great. Where's my money, IBM? This is my show. All right, here we go.
Do we clarify that we just cut out
He's one
the
of
IBM
Russia's
ad?
richest and most powerful oligarchs. And now the U.S. Special Prosecutor says Yevgeny Prigozhin was deeply
nailed
connected
that.
to the Russian.
I think I don't
Evgeny
remember.
Prigozhin.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. I was going to do it in the middle, but I guess I did get it. There's another name in here that I am going to wing through. It's about in the middle, but we'll see what happens. All right. Last piece of the news. Russian documents reveal desire to sow racial discord and violence in the U.S., and this comes from NBC News. Russians who were linked to the possible interference in the 2016 U.S. election, which is still being investigated, are now being accused of discussing ambitious plans to stoke unrest and even violence inside the U.S., according to NBC News. Communications between associates of Yevgeny Prigozhin, who's a Kremlin-linked businessman with ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin, laid out a new plot to manipulate and radicalize African Americans in the U.S. The plans show that Prigozhin's circle has sought to exploit racial tensions well beyond Russia's social media and misinformation efforts tied to the 2016 election. The documents were obtained through the Dossier Center, a London-based investigative project funded by Russian opposition figure Mikhail Khodorkovsky?
Khodorkovsky.
Khodorkovsky, thank you.
Yeah.
NBC News has not independently verified the materials, but forensic analysis by the Dossier Center appeared to substantiate the communications. The documents contain proposals for several ways to further exacerbate racial discord in the future, including a suggestion to recruit African Americans and transport them to camps in Africa for, quote, combat prep and training in sabotage. Those recruits would then be sent back to America to foment violence and work to establish a Pan-African state in the South, particularly in South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. There is no indication that the plan was ever put into action. The blueprint floated the idea of enlisting poor, formerly incarcerated African Americans, specifically, who have, quote, experience in organized crime groups, end quote, as well as members of, quote, radical black movements for participation in civil disobedience actions, end quote. This comes in light of intelligence agencies' warning about Russian meddling in the 2020 U.S. election. I also want to point out real quick that I did use quotes in earlier news articles, but I felt like it was especially important in this one, though, to point them out. I apologize for that. What a crazy news report.
Wow. This is wild. A race war.
A race war. They're inciting a race war. All fun and games in this race war. It is especially turbulent time right now in the what would you say, like the social climate of the U.S. right now. We are just arguably more divided than ever. At least one of the most divided times socially that we've had in the country.
And Russia's just trying to shove that wedge in.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I would really love for them to like fully like confirm this, like just go like, yeah, like Russia 100% is doing this. Although I despite the lack of real solid confirmation,
I mean, yeah, it's not that surprising.
I'm leaning towards agreeing with it, like going, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. You know? I mean, it keeps getting crazier and crazier every like month. There's feels like there's a new revelation about stuff that Russia tried to do.
Yeah, Russia doing
is trying to do. So yeah, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, man, Alex, you know what I think we should do? Let's just roll out the Abrams tanks and have them roll across the hills of Russia. Long gone are the days of Russian winters. We have modern technology. We're gonna fuck them up. and then we're gonna nuke them. We're gonna nuke them all. Just destroy them all.
That is
The correct answer? Yes. Some would even say the final solution.
Oh my lord.
Yes. I'm obviously being facetious. I don't actually mean that.
Oh wow.
I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do because right now we're not really in a good, I guess, political standing.
We have a president that denies that it's happening. That doesn't help.
Yeah. So I mean, the really only thing you can do is right now, I guess, is impose sanctions upon him, which I think we're already doing.
We
right?
got a buttload of sanctions, I think.
Yeah. So like, it's really unfortunate. All we can do, folks, is be more aware about, I guess just be more aware, more in tune to the Discord, and not get so wrapped up in all, this tribalism that I see people getting wrapped up in, and just being more aware and being more, level-headed.
And I think I haven't been on, I don't have a Facebook anymore, so I haven't been there in a while, but I don't know, I feel like there's always news reports that are like, oh my god, look at all this stuff that Russia still managed to get onto Facebook, and then sometimes you see like, oh, Facebook is implementing this policy or that policy.
Speaking of which, speaking of Facebook, did you hear? I forgot. There's another thing I forgot to put down, along with something else that I might bring up. But did you hear that the Facebook refuses to take down a fake confirmed video of Nancy Pelosi? Like, I didn't look into what the video was, but like.
Oh yeah.
Did you know what the video is?
I've watched it. I watched the side by side. So it's the one that Trump retweeted, but which is very dangerous. But basically, she was talking. I don't remember what she was talking about. She was talking about considering impeachment for Trump, right? Like, I don't know if she was saying yes or no, but basically the fake version is just slowed down, and she sounds drunk, or like that. She's having trouble speaking. The real one sounds fine, and I'm pretty sure they didn't take it down. All they were willing to do was put it was a really softly worded warning that it was a doctored video. They were like, this, I don't remember what they said, but it was not, very forceful. They were just like, oh, watch out, this is apparently fake.
It's just, I mean, on the one hand, I understand, because there are plenty of fake videos out there, and I haven't watched the video, so, I mean, you can correct me on this if need be, but when I think it's something important like that, like, although, to be fair, I guess I thought the edits were more extreme, where it made her seem drunk or whatever. It is not terrible, but still, like, that's, like, it's an important thing going on in the, in the community right now, and that, and this brings up even a bigger question, or not just the community, like the whole political world, brings even a bigger question right now. How fake does this video have to be for it to get, taken down?
Exactly.
Like, where do you draw that line? Like, what if there's a deep fake video? Because now, not only do they can get your face, they can get your audio too. They can get you saying anything if they have enough video footage or audio footage, or not footage, whatever. You know what I mean?
Clips.
Yeah. They can make you say anything. So where does that, where is that line? Yeah. It's a little concerning. A little concerning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Makes the Russian jobs even easier.
Exactly. I don't know. They go hand in hand, yeah. Facebook and Russian interference efforts.
Speaking of Russia, the second thing that I didn't put on here, which I might have should have, but I mean this news segment is already especially long, is Mueller stepping down.
Huh? Oh, Mueller. Yeah.
Yeah, Mueller. Yeah.
Yeah. He is. He. What did he do? He didn't testify to Congress. He gave like a.
He didn't use a resignation?
Yeah, but he also, I think he talked to Congress, I'm pretty sure. Oh, God, who did he talk to? I completely forgot. But yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
His work is done.
He said, I'm finished? Fuck you. He got out.
Probably, I don't know, probably feels good to be out of it. Although I'm sure he's bummed that people are still fighting over the Mueller report. And
yeah, he's just like, can you guys just get over this? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak too much into it because I didn't do any research on it. But yeah, I mean, what a can of worms. What a can of worms. All right. Is that all for the news, Alex? Is that all you want to discuss?
As far as I can think of, yeah.
All right. Yeah, sorry, folks. This was especially long. Took up the majority of the podcast. But next time we do this, it should be a shorter list. All right. Next, I want to introduce a segment of the show that might, I don't know how regularly it'll be coming in, and I haven't figured out a nice catchy phrase for it. For right now, I'm just going to call it Alex's New Podcast. Alex's New Podcast, we're going to do mini podcasts within podcasts. Mm-hmm. I heard you like podcasts. And he is going to do, together, we're going to do some sort of crazy, stupid thing, like maybe rate cheese. Mm-hmm. Or discuss what letters we like in the alphabet. And we'll turn an entire mini podcast into it. Maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Interesting subjects like that.
Yeah, you can look forward to it. Mm-hmm. And Alex is a crazy dude, so I'm sure we'll find something. All right.
Should be fun.
Yeah, it should be. All right, on to our final segment of the show, the most open-ended, the topics. Mm-hmm. Now, Alex, you can go first or I can go first.
Okay.
Sorry, I haven't actually, now that I'm here, I haven't fully decided. I like to talk about both.
Okay.
But
both of these topics.
You can either go first or I can go first. It doesn't matter to me.
I might have to take a potty break. If I'm being honest. Can I do that?
Yeah,
in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. There are a few segments I'm gonna edit out.
Okay, so we can just.
Yeah. We are back on, I believe. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We might be back on.
Would be a massive bummer.
Back from the bathroom.
Yeah. Alex, and I have thought about it a little bit. To answer your question.
What was my question?
Are we gonna let them know if we're gonna edit out the audio?
Uh-huh.
And I think yes, I will.
Okay.
I think there are gonna be not too many edits. I'm not gonna. I for the most part, I do want it to be a solid conversation followed through. Mm-hmm. You know, this episode's a little different since there's a lot of news to go over, but for the most part, I want it to be about the topics. I want most of the show to be about the topics, and I want it to be more of a conversation. So I'm not going to really edit it too much. There's one awkward thing that I'm looking back on, and I want to cut, and then there's the bathroom thing, and then there might be one other thing.
That's fair. Yeah.
Other than that, all right. Topics. So
you first or me first?
It's up to you. I can go first if you'd like. I can make a gut wrenching decision, which one.
Oh, because you can't do both.
Yeah, I mean, we could save the other one for another day.
That's true. If I went first, would it give you time to decide?
No, probably not.
Okay.
I appreciate it, though.
Well, you can go first if you want. God, I'm so indecisive.
Oh, you want to flip a coin?
Sure. I like that.
Well, there's coins over there, but I don't feel like getting up.
All right.
Do you have an app for it?
I'll just ask. Flip a coin.
Heads.
Huh?
It landed on tails.
Okay, you go first.
Oh, okay. I did completely forget that you have to call before the... Okay, so I go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So my topic is the Starlink constellation, which is...
Very interesting.
Yeah. Basically, it's... SpaceX is launching a constellation, which is just the word for a grouping of satellites, that is going to provide like worldwide satellite-based internet at high speeds and low latency, because one of the big issues with satellite-based internet is that the satellites are usually in geosynchronous orbit, and that's like, half a second away.
Right.
Oh, well, that's not true. But the distances means there's a little lag.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And basically, SpaceX launched the first 60 of them about a week ago, and they've been pretty visible from the ground. And astronomy Twitter was kind of wondering, like, hold on, when the full 12,000 go up.
Yeah, what is it going to look like?
Yeah, what's it going to look like? They're going to be, as far as we know, they're going to be relatively bright. Actually, we know now that they flare, which means, you know, they hit a certain angle that's just right, and they get really, really bright. But they're not super bright all the time, right? And so, yeah, the issue is, like, one, what's this going to do to the night sky? You know, you're going to have... For context, I'm all over the place. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We're freeballing it.
Gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. So for context, there's 5,000-ish satellites in orbit around the Earth right now. 2,000 are operational, and only about, I want to say, 1,000 are in low Earth orbit, which is just relatively close, right? So all of these Starlink satellites are going to be in low Earth orbit. There's actually going to be like 3 or 4 different shells, but all of them are going to be relatively close, which means they're bright and they orbit fast, right? And so there was one astronomer on Twitter, Alex Parker is his name, and he said that he estimated when the full constellation is up, people in Seattle at midnight will be, I'm pretty sure he said at midnight, but I could be wrong, we'll be able to see around 500 satellites in the sky at any given time.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah. So, like, that outnumbers the amount of you know, really bright stars in the night sky that you can see at one time. And so it's like, you know, is this gonna...
Yeah, eliminate the night sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what will it do to, like, I don't know, astronomers' observations, right? Because when you're using ground-based telescopes, which, you know, are important and they're not going anywhere for a long time, then you're going to get so many more streaks in them, you know? You're suddenly, like, doubling, tripling the amount of satellites that show up in these images.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think...
Yeah, originally I was very into this idea. Like I was like, oh man, that's gonna be real good. But then when you start thinking about it, and then when it turns out, hey, this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
For not only just regular people wanting to look up at the night sky, but it's gonna be a problem for our astronomers and people who, you know, this is their living. You got to make their life 10 times harder. But then that adds more complication to the whole situation, because he's using this in hopes to fund his missions to Mars, which I fully support. So it's like, man, this is it's for a position to be in, because it's a good thing to try to provide internet for the world, you know, the entire world, at least, you know, some basic form of it. But man,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And a lot of people are, I don't know, some of the debate is about, like, is this a genuine concern, or is it, like, not in my backyardism, you know, like, how dare you do this, even though it's a net benefit, like windmills and stuff like that,
Right.
wind turbines. And what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, do you know if the company has, like, responded, if Elon said anything, or like?
Yeah, Elon, he said a couple incorrect things on Twitter. He was like, because it was all, like, going down in astronomy Twitter, and it was a mess, and Elon was responding to people, and he was like, actually, you can't see these during the night. And people were like, actually, that's not true. You really can, especially when you're not on the equator. And then I think he talked about, I don't know, looking into how disruptive it's going to be for everyone, including astronomers, which, you know, I guess it's a nice sentiment, but, like, obviously they should have thought about this beforehand. Like, what's the impact of, you know, 12,000 satellites in low Earth orbit, 6,000 in one night sky at a time, you know?
Right.
Or not 6,000, but 6,000 on one side of the Earth at a time. And where was I going with this? A lot of people defending SpaceX are saying, oh, you know, he's bringing internet to the masses, quote unquote, right? He's doing a good thing for the world by
Right. It is a good thing.
Yeah.
It is a good thing. It's just there's just some problems with it.
Yeah. What's the cost?
Yeah. Do you know if they, like, already have the satellites, like, made and ready to go, or like?
I don't think they're all they're definitely not all manufactured, but I think like the infrastructure is really there. Like, you know, they're ready to send up, I don't know how many missions it's gonna take, like something like 30 or something like in that area. But they launch, you know, 60 satellites at a time on one Falcon 9. And
Falcon 9's being their rocket.
yeah, SpaceX is one of their rockets.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to organize my thoughts.
That's all right. I'll do a little bullshitting. It's definitely, man, definitely a tricky situation. I guess maybe what I would say is like, listen, Elon, I understand. I got it. Like, you know, you're doing this to fund the mission, and it's a good cause. But we can't have you finishing those satellites until we fully understand what having all of them up there, which is, I believe, I don't know if you already mentioned this, but 12,000. That's a lot of satellites. Excuse me. That's a lot of fucking satellites. And especially if you can see them in orbit, that's, I mean, I don't know, maybe either don't produce the rest of them, or, I mean, I don't know, push them further out into orbit. Is that even an option? Like, I mean, I know the problem would be that it's the latency.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they could go much further just because I don't know. They'd probably have to change the designs of the satellites. I'm not sure.
Excuse me. Could they change like the angle? Because like the thing that's reflecting is the solar panel, right?
Well, actually, I think I'm pretty sure. So the way it is it's like it's like a kitchen table, right? Made of metal. It's flat on the bottom, right? With a gigantic one upward solar panel.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Or
it's
panel, yeah, flare.
yeah, almost like a big square sailboat. And so the solar panel is, I don't think it's reflecting onto the Earth because it's like, you know, pointing away from the Earth at all times. But the bottom of it is just flat with the flat antennae, and it's metallic. And spacecraft have to be metallic and shiny because if you paint them, then, you know, like if you paint it black, it absorbs heat, right? And it doesn't cool off as well, so you can't just paint it black. Which is,
you know, I mean, that sounds like intuitive, but I never thought about that.
yeah, I learned that too recently. A lot of people were like, oh, it's no problem, just paint them, and turns out that's not a solution. So it's the antenna, as far as I understand, which reflect, and they can't really orient those. They've always got to be pointing straight down. Yeah.
Would it interfere with the signal, or could you like have like something surrounding the outside, like if and for listeners, I am hovering around the shock mount of my mic. Could you, like, let's just say this is like
a skirt.
Yeah, like this is the solar panel.
Yeah.
Right, and then this is the thing, and then this is rule number 1: you don't touch the mic. I just got that. This is the antenna, and then you just
have something there. I wonder. I don't know.
Like, would it interfere with the signal, and would it stop? More importantly, would it stop the reflection?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
I know. I know. I'm questioning you like you're like a SpaceX scientist or something right now, but
well, it's fun to think about.
Yeah.
I know that the satellites are able to move around and maneuver, and so I don't know how that would interfere with like their little thrusters. I don't know where those are. No one's mentioned that as a solution, so I imagine it's not possible. Or you're the first. You could be the first.
I could be the first. Elon, hire me.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it is interesting. This is kind of a small subject change, but to talk about how much of a public benefit the satellites actually are, right. Because Isn't
Facebook also doing an initiative like that?
Everybody's doing it. And that's another problem. Amazon's doing it. Amazon's constellation is going to be like 3,000. OneWeb.
They're also doing satellites.
All these different. They're like,
because I heard Facebook was doing it via drones.
Oh well, yeah. Facebook's not doing satellites, I don't think. But there are a lot of companies all planning their individual Starlink-like constellations. So SpaceX is just one competitor. Yeah. So we're going to be moving from 12,000 up to like 20,000 at some point if all these companies have their way.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting to examine whether or not it's as like charitable of a thing to do as a lot of people are framing it, because it's okay. I guess charitable is not the right word, but a lot of people are standing Elon, saying like, yeah, he's advancing society, he's helping humanity, he's doing something great.
It is something great. I don't know about that.
Why I say that is because
that's what his defenders or some of his defenders are doing.
Yes, yeah, and why I bring that up is that I looked into briefly, right? I'm no expert, of course, but like I looked into why, people don't have internet access, and from what I can tell, a lot of it is the fact that you live in a rural area, but a lot of it is also the fact that you can't afford any form of internet, or obviously it's a Venn diagram. Like a lot of people live in areas where there is no infrastructure,
right,
and they can't afford it, or they're old
for various reasons.
Yeah, and so the system to basically hook into this Starlink constellation, you need to buy like a $200 receiver, right, which you mount on top of your house. And I don't know. I think it doesn't sound like something that
poor people would be getting.
Exactly. Like, you've got a list of priorities, right? And I don't know if a $200 satellite receiver that you have to mount on top of your house that's blatantly there, right? Like it's,
right,
what if it gets stolen, right? And I assume you have to pay. You don't just buy the thing and you're good. You pay the monthly fees too, yeah, because they got to make a lot of money.
Yeah. Now that I think about it,
yeah, it's not like free worldwide internet. It's a service. It's fast, right? Because there's already worldwide satellite internet. It's slow, right? Because it's in the far orbits, but it exists. It's just inconvenient. The reason that SpaceX is doing this is because they want something that's lag free. And so
that is something people would want to invest in.
Yeah. But is it gonna be like this amazing good, or is it just gonna end up being another luxury?
You know what? Now the more I think about it, the more I'm like, nah. Let's stop this. Originally, I was somewhat on board and understanding, but yeah, now the more I think about it, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big cost.
And I had satellite TV. I don't know if you did too.
For a bit, yeah.
Every time there's a storm, goes out. So now also your internet's gonna go out.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. That's
not convenient.
Yeah, it's not convenient.
Additionally, there's the question of like, which countries are going to allow you to actually buy the receiver? Because OneWeb, which is the other company that's currently doing this, beat SpaceX to the punch. They launched some of their satellites on a Russian rocket out of Russia. And Russia told them, actually, by the way, we're going to launch this for you, but don't sell your receiver in our country. Because they've locked down their internet, of course, right? So automatically,
right.
You miss like a billion people because you can't get access to China, right? You don't get Russia because they're not going to let you buy the receivers. They're not going to let you get this internet that they can't control.
Right.
So I don't know. It's
that's crazy. That's another aspect I have evidently not thought a lot about. That is another aspect I haven't thought of. Yeah, like there's total markets of people where you either can't buy the satellite, or you're not going to reach them because of some bumfuck governments. Well, they're not bumfuck, but man, this is really just a way to make money.
Exactly. Yeah, it's they're hoping to just like it's a bit concerning because I think SpaceX's entire mission plan is like based on this hypothetical funding that they're definitely, quote unquote, definitely gonna get from this Starlink thing, right? And I mean, if that doesn't go through, where's the money?
I hope not, because personally, I mean, despite some of the things that Elon has said and done that maybe weren't the best, But like I am really an Elon bandwagon person. Oh, there's the fucking helicopter.
There's the helicopter.
That's the one thing I forgot about.
The helicopter.
I think I'll wait.
Okay.
I think I'll like a teacher.
Well, I'll wait.
I'll wait. I'll wait. You gonna give me an answer, helicopter? What was the math question I messed up? 11 plus 8. Yeah. What's 11 plus 8?
No answer.
You tell me. It's 19. I remember. It is 19, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to embarrass myself a second time. What was I saying?
Oh,
Elon.
Elon.
Right. So even with some of the things that people don't like about Elon, I personally am honestly a bandwagon person for Elon. Like I think for the most part,
you stand.
yeah, he is. I mean, I don't know. I just really like what he's going for, and you know, sometimes you gotta break some eggs. You know, sometimes you gotta die on that hill. Roll credits, and and you know, I don't know. Like I just really support him on most of his endeavors, and hell, I even want a Tesla. But man, that's I don't support this.
Yeah, it's a bit much, you know, because we all knew it was gonna happen, but like it's been public information for a while now, but it never like really occurred to people like these are gonna be close. There's a lot of them, and they're gonna be bright. You know?
I mean, hell, it never occurred to me.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it for 2 seconds. And then there's gonna be 12,000 of them, and then on top of that, there are other people who are gonna.
Yeah, and it's in everybody's sky too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You
know? Do you know if like any like if I guess specifically, do you know if the U.S. government is like, hey, don't do that?
They gave them the go ahead. I think it's the FCC which is in charge of it, the Federal Communications something.
These motherfuckers.
Oh man, they're right over. Look at that. That's the FCC coming for us.
Yeah, it's like you're doing what?
You talking shit?
You're talking shit.
Yeah. So they gave them the go ahead for all 12,000. So it's in motion. It's
so there's really, unless like something comes out, there's really nothing we can do about it. They're gonna launch.
Yeah. As far as hang on, 200 launches is what they need. They could do that in a couple years because they launch really fast. But yeah, it's
fast and often.
Yeah, and the ball is rolling. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah, there's nothing we can really do.
Yeah, that's the problem. We would have to
lobby the fuck
out
of Congress and then have them actually care about it.
Yeah,
and get it done.
How do you get? Because you know, it's like an ethical thing. You have to tell them like, oh, it's you know, purely technically it works and it's fine and it's a cool thing, but it's polluting the skies and you got to make them actually care about that.
Yeah.
And
then astronomers' job is infinitely difficult. Infinitely more difficult.
And a little tidbit, it's from what I understand, astronomers, you know, can work around a lot of satellites because they're just out there floating around, right? And they're predictable. And so you can just say, okay, I'm not going to observe when they're right there on that night, and it won't get in the way of the telescope. But these are all at the same time doing active collision avoidance because there's so many. So they have to do that, right, to not be a liability. And so you don't know where they're going to be next, which is even harder for astronomers, you know, to predict.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it just blows my mind, like, thinking about what the night sky could look like with just hundreds of satellites just moving around all at once, you know, and then flaring too, because they'll go from being possibly at some points too dim to see unless you're in a really dark place to suddenly like some of the brightest objects in the sky. And
do you think it would, have they said like, oh, it'll like midday you'll like look up and see like a Starlink satellite?
You won't see them in the day, that's for sure, but you'll no, yeah, you'll only see them at night most of the time around, you know, sunset. dusk and dawn, stuff like that. You'll never see them in the middle of the day. Knock on wood, right?
Yeah, luckily we have some wood
got
here.
some genuine. It's better be real wood because I don't want to see them in the day.
Where did you get this table anyway?
Oh God, I don't know. I think my parents bought it for me.
This was freshman summer, right?
Yeah, this might be IKEA.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know. It's a good table.
it's a good table. A lot of memories.
Nice stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think we were talking about could you see it?
Yeah,
in the day.
So you won't see it in the day, but boy, will you see it at night? As far as we know, they're slowly, the first 60 are spreading out now and slowly moving into their final orbits. So they're moving outwards. So they're getting dimmer, but they're still pretty visible. Like sometimes people on Twitter will chime in and say, "Oh, I saw it pass overhead at 10 p.m. and I couldn't see them at all." And then other people are like, "Wow, they flared when I saw them, and they were the brightest thing in the sky." And so it's all over the place, and yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, we might. I don't know. We might be the last ones to have
A night sky.
Yeah, a pristine night sky, because there's already Elon stands also. Don't mean to group them all into Elon stands, right? But like they also sometimes say like, oh, there's already tons of satellites, but like there's only like, I don't know, 300 or 400 I think is the number of like easily visible satellites,
Right.
that you can see all the time, not 12,000. So yeah, I don't know, it'll be interesting. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think the best, well, not the best thing. The only thing we can really do is, I guess, just wait and see. Wait and see what happens. Yeah. Well,
sorry for the somber note.
that's all right. We're gonna end on an angry note.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
At least in terms of topics.
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna do. So I think I need more time to develop my tall argument, which we will get into another time. I think I'm going to go with an easy one, and just me being an asshole and a nitpicky person.
Okay.
And this is a hill that I will die on, that I don't like. And I'm going to be a hater. And now, would you say hobby?
I think it's
Photography?
Yeah.
Like, we both enjoy photography. I mean, I'd say you're definitely way more into it than I am, but...
But you're into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I if I do say so myself, I think I'm a pretty decent photographer.
I agree.
I don't have thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have the best understanding all the time, but I think I have a good mind's eye. Not to stroke my own ego, but I just think whatever. Regardless, that's not the point. My point is whether you think I'm a good photographer or not. Not that anybody's really seen my work, but for those who have, I've actually done real journalistic photography work. Alex has done real journalistic photography work. Me and Alex have also both done artistic photography work. And we've worked in dark rooms and we've done editing and all this stuff. So we know some stuff. I think it's safe to say that at least from a very amateurish level, we're photographers. We can safely say that. We're photographers.
I think that's fair.
I think I'd go farther than that, but just as a general starting point,
Okay.
that's what I'll say to be generous. But what ticks me off, okay, is all these, and I've talked to you about this before, all these fake photographers that just come out of the woodwork and their mom or dad buys them a fucking camera. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm a photographer. I don't know. Like, all right, it's great that you're getting into, a great hobby, I think. But when I first got my camera, I didn't start going, oh, I'm a photographer. I said, oh, I'm into photography. I'm doing I'm trying out photography. Even still, I don't 100% feel comfortable calling myself a photographer. But, like, you have all these people making Instagram accounts purely dedicated to photography, right? And it's not even good artistic photography. It's just portraits. You're just doing portraits. It's not even good portraits. You just got the flash on and you just take a picture of someone's face. Nice job. You got it in HD. Good for you. I don't know. I'm being a hater about this. It's a nitpicky thing and I'm being an asshole. I'm fully willing to admit this. But these people are not real photographers. You just got a camera and you're taking pictures. You're not doing anything with it. And I'm not really one to talk because I'm not the best at portrait photography, I think. I think more my thing has always been landscapes and architecture. And I think landscape is probably one of the easiest things to take pictures of. I like to think I make it interesting. But to be fair, I think that is probably the easiest route you can go. And I'm not talking about, like, specifically, I want to shout out, I'll say friend. You know, I don't know, maybe she doesn't feel that way. But Haley, my old friend Haley from my junior photography class, she does, I don't want to disparage her. She mainly does, she can correct me if I'm wrong. Or anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe she mainly does portraits and, like, what's that called? Studio shoots with people, right? That's actually decent stuff. You're actually doing interesting stuff. It's not my cup of tea personally. Like, I'm not really huge into studio portrait photography. I like it, but it's not really my thing. You know, she's actually doing stuff. I swear to God. There's this girl. I'm not going to call her out. But a lot of people know her from my high school. She was a grade under me. All right? She's a grade under me. And she has a photography account. And I swear to God, I'm red zoning the mic. One of the pictures is literally just some dude on a bench, zoomed in on his head, the lens zoomed in on him, and the flash is on, and it's just slight, and it's in focus.
Can I see the picture? I'm really curious.
I don't. All right, I'll try to find it. Okay. You while I'm looking for it, I guess you can tell me how you feel about it.
I don't know. You might have to delve into more, like, what constitutes these accounts, because I don't know what you're talking about. So it's just people who you're upset that people are.
I guess my thing is like, maybe it's wrong for me to say this, but it's like, I don't want to say hard work, but like I've taken the time to learn some of the ins and outs of photography. And again, I even still don't even really like to, like, tout that I'm a photographer, because I don't even think that I'm, like, that good. And I still think there's a lot for me to improve. And it's more of a hobby to me nowadays. I thought it was going to be a career at one point, but that's another story for another day. And I just know I'm good, but I know there's a lot for me to get better. And I just see these people, all right? I found the page. I just see these people, and they start going around saying that they're like these, like, oh, I'm a photographer. You know, oh, I feel like an asshole now. The page literally says photos taken for fun.
Damn.
Still, my point still stands. I don't have my own photography account, right? These photos aren't all that great. This is just a photo of a person. Now,
it is, yeah.
At any moment you want to tell me I'm just an asshole, you go ahead. But, like, listen, these are just photos taken of people. That's a pond. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
Well,
they're not.
Well, these are. That's not. You can't really critique that.
That's not a pond.
It's not a pond.
They're not, like, you know. They're not fantastic, right? They're not of, like.
I want to try to find the one that I was referring to of just the flash.
I'm really curious. The
flash being on. Oh, that is some. This isn't the one, but do I even really have to, like, get into it?
I think, I'm gonna be honest, I think that's fantastic.
You're just saying that because of the little girl.
No, I think it's
100%.
I think that's amazing. I don't know. I'm biased because I like pictures of the Flash.
I think it depends when you use the Flash. Like, was it? I don't remember, because I can't really see the Flash. But well, maybe a little bit of the shadows.
I think the Flash is
might be the place.
Yeah, you can see because his hand, the Flash. The shadow of his hand.
Yeah, it's just like, well, that's a little more interesting, but yeah, all right. Well, you get my point.
Yeah,
and I'm not specifically trashing on this person. And you know what? Maybe they're a fantastic photographer. I don't know, and they just posting the rejects on that account. But, like, I don't know. And I mean, we all have to start somewhere. But I guess maybe what I'm saying is maybe I'm a little upset that we're not taking a more humble approach to this.
Okay.
You know, like, again, I don't even have my own photography account. I occasionally post my own photos on my Instagram account. I have that one challenge.
But
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
yeah, I've been ranting for far too long. Please tell me your take. Tell me your take on my
I
stand.
think it's an interesting hill. That's for sure. To be fair, do you know that these people actually have just been given a camera and started taking pictures?
Yes, some of them. Yes, I know. I know
Okay.
that
You're
this is
sure.
what's happening. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I see where you're coming from. I guess I'm probably on the other side where I think that like my bar for what you call photography is pretty low. I don't know if that means I'm a bad photographer or not.
No, you're a fantastic photographer.
Oh, thank you.
You're very good.
I would ask, would you say the same for painting?
What do you mean?
Like if someone got, their parents bought them like an easel and paints and some brushes and they started painting, right? Would you be upset if they called themselves a painter?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I would, because you want to know why. You want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have the audacity. they have the audacity to start calling themselves a painter when they've just started. They didn't even take any lessons. They just, art's subjective. So, I mean, I guess maybe that just defeats my whole entire argument. Because that's something that's a hill I would rather die on. Art is subjective to a full extent. But that's a conversation for another day.
These are two interesting hills that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe now that I'm looking a little bit deep into myself, I'm thinking it might just be like, I don't know. I don't know what's that sensation like or that feeling. Like, I don't know, protective maybe of like my hobby or one of my hobbies, one of my interests maybe, of just like, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like, man, I put some work into this, not as much as other people, but like, I've taken photos, I've had my stuff critiqued, I've been taking photos for years, and you got some people out here, and again, not that girl specifically, but you got some people out here who are like, oh yeah, I'm a photographer, no big deal, I'll do all your pictures and all your photos. And it's just like, what? Like, I know tons of people. Brady, Haley, like I mentioned, she's a great portrait photographer, I think. The general photographer in general. I think this girl, I feel so bad because I like getting names right. Alexandria, or I don't know. I don't.
It happens.
Allie,
You
I
have a
think.
placeholder name, Mikhail.
I think Allie. I think it's Allie.
Yevgeny.
Evgeny.
We call her Yevgeny.
Evgeny Prigozhin Allie.
Yeah.
I know I follow her. I wouldn't.
So you're like worried that it's getting watered down. You're under assault by garbage.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Alexandra, but I think people call her Allie. Yeah. And look, she's a photographer, and what do you see? You don't see dick. You don't see any pictures, except for this one. Well, you don't see any pictures.
Like, not bad. She might just not be posting them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just like, and that's the reason why the name for this topic, you can't see it, audience, is fake photographers. Like, there are these people that they just tout themselves as like, oh man, I'm like this artistic fucking genius. Not really, but like I'm exaggerating it. But I'm this photographer, man. I know photos, I know cameras, and like really all they know what to do is they know how to put something in focus, set the camera to auto, and zoom in a little bit.
But they do also like to take pictures.
Yeah. I think I'm just being a hater.
It's okay. I think it's fair because I mean, I think you're basically just, you want to reserve the word photographer for someone who's serious, who seems serious about it. And I understand that because you could like confuse people by, saying, "Oh, I'm a photographer," and they're like, "Oh, that's fantastic. Can you take like my wedding photos?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm not that kind of photographer." You got to clarify that.
Yeah.
So I think that's totally fair where you're coming from. Like you gotta, there should be some distinction.
Thank you for being so accepting of my hating. Okay. I guess that's. Yeah, I'm trying to put it into words.
Yeah.
I guess another thing I would like is just people know there's levels. There's levels to this.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a level 1 photographer. I'm still working on it.
if you're a level 1 photographer,
that was just my.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you're level 1, what the fuck am I? Am I subpar? I didn't even make it past the tutorial level. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's just my main thing. Like, you know, people they're just out here, man, and you're not a real photographer. Listen, I think I'm a lot of the people I just shat on in my mind, and that one girl I showed you. I think I'm better than them. And listen, I fuck up the f-stop and the aperture and all that jazz all the time. And like sometimes when I take it off automatic, I get scared. I get scared for my photos because I'm like, oh man, I don't really remember how this works 100%. Like, I don't remember the exact what I want here. So I'm just gonna wing it.
Okay.
Like so, and I would say I'm more of a photographer, as sad as that is, than some of these people. I think I'm being an elitist, and I think this contradicts with my other hill to die on, ironically, which is art is subjective. But again, that's a conversation for the day. I actually want that's one of the topics I've known from the beginning I want to have on the show. Is that conversation, because I think
that would be very.
If I could get Jasmine on the show, we would argue back and forth for a while. That would be a good conversation.
Okay, and I'm kind of in the, I don't know where I am on that subject, so y'all could try to convince me.
Sure. Real quick, we're not gonna get into it, but real quick, if knee-jerk reaction, what do you think? Do you think art is subjective? Do you think there's objective things about it, or like, you know, it's a very gray area. It's a spectrum. So what is your knee-jerk take?
Oh God, I don't know. You know, I had some thought. I was thinking about this like a couple months ago. I remember coming to a conclusion, and then I forgot that conclusion. But okay, let me think. Art is subjective. Is art subjective? What were my thoughts? I mean, I feel like this has come up a lot, and I've always like fallen back on like art is like expression, so it is subjective. No, I don't remember.
All right,
I'm knee jerk undecided.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
I need to think about it more.
And as I've said, I think art is subjective. And I won't attack Jasmine's position, but she would somewhat disagree. Because I think I'm an extremist. I think everything is art. Not everything is art. Everything can be art.
Okay.
You know, whether it's good or not, but then again, subjective and all that jazz. So I don't want to say that. I don't want to misrepresent her position, but she thinks not everything can be art, I believe.
Okay.
I don't want to misquote her. I don't want to say objective or anything like that, but yeah.
Ooh, I think I have an interesting thought. I think this would be on the side of art isn't subjective, right? But what if should we save this, or should I?
You can go into it.
Okay,
If I think it's really interesting, I'll stop you. But
okay, I was thinking, could you maybe say that art, the whole purpose of art, and even this might be up for debate, right? But the art conveys something, right? If the purpose of art is to convey an emotion or a meaning or something, then maybe it's a lot like language, right? And language is, your eyes got wide.
yeah, because I'm just like, oh shit.
Language, right, is not subjective, I'll say tentatively, right? Because like you can't just spout gibberish. No one will understand you. There has to be like an agreement where like I know English, you know English. I'm taking what's in my brain, turning it into English, sending it to your ears, and it's turning it back into whatever it was supposed to be in my brain, right? And so English is the medium through...
That's a good argument. Fuck me.
And so art is, in a similar way, the medium that must be objective.
It's still a hill for me to die on, though, so I'm going to argue against it. I think that you could argue that art isn't about... It's a hard one to make. I think you can argue art isn't necessarily the same thing, and I don't think art isn't always about communication.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's where you could get me. So
But that's a hard one to argue, because then you could say, well then what is art then? Like, what is art meant to do? And I think the knee-jerk reaction would be art's meant to make you feel. All right, well then how's it doing that? Oh, well then it's the art is communicating something to you, and then you would, and then you're kind of like, well, fuck. But I don't know. That's it's a tricky one. I really like that.
Okay.
You should, if you can, try to remember that. If Jasmine does ever feel like getting on the show, or if she really doesn't want to come on, or something or whatever, and we can't get her on, maybe I might have it with Michael or both of them.
Okay.
I mean, however we can get certified artists, and see what they think.
It'll be interesting, that's for sure.
I think so.
And I can switch sides. I'll suddenly be on your side, like art is subjective.
I hope so.
I still feel like I'm not.
I think the problem with arguments like that is that when you're dealing with something that you're arguing for that's subjective, you get into this gray area where, well, if it's not objective, it's hard to use logic to argue for it, you know, because if ultimately your conclusion is, hey, logic doesn't really, the rules kind of bend here, it makes for a hard thing to concrete stand on.
Yeah.
And
then we argue that the argument about whether or not art is subjective is subjective, or isn't it?
Yeah, it just becomes a reductive argument.
Well, that'll be interesting. Yeah. That'll be the 5-hour-long episode.
Yeah. Speaking of which, good segue. We are about 2 hours in, and
wow.
I think
that's crazy.
That's about as much as I thought we were gonna get.
Oh my god!
Because we had a particularly long news segment this episode, and I'm hoping next time will be different.
Okay. Wow.
But yeah, I think despite the few kinks along the way, I think that was really good, and I think we have a tried and true formula.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. So, this is fantastic.
Is there anything you would like to say before we sign out? Closing thoughts on our first little experience, first little expedition.
I don't know. Never been in a podcast before, so I guess I don't really have any thoughts other than this is cool.
Right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my closing thoughts is, as I already said, there's a few kinks we can work out. Definitely want to reduce the amount of news, which is going to be hard because there were a bunch of news stories that I saw that I was like, oh man, I want to put that in, or I want to talk about that, or this, that, and the other. But I think definitely gonna have to cut back on some news stories and just kind of blast through them. Maybe get rid of, as hard as it will be, get rid of some less of the ones that don't really spur discussion and are just interesting. Get rid of those.
All right.
But yeah, I liked it. I think it was good.
Yeah.
All right. Normally this would be the part of the show where I'd say, hey, subscribe to my Patreon. But I don't have any of that. I think what I'm going to do is I think this is going to be on YouTube. I think I'm going to put it on SoundCloud. I don't know what I'm going to do about the other ones like Spotify, iTunes, and all that. But we'll see. Right now we're just going to go for YouTube and SoundCloud. I don't think I'm going to make an Instagram or Twitter or whatever for any of the podcasts. I don't think I have anything to plug. Just follow me and Alex. Alex, you want to give out your social media at all, or?
Sure. I'm at PG Komai, which is PGCOMAI on Twitter. Yeah, that's me.
Also, if you want to give it out, I think that's also on Instagram.
Yes, that's I completely forgot. I don't use Instagram very often, but that is also my Instagram. That's convenient. They're the same.
Yeah. On Twitter, MJ Rios, MJRIOS, and on Instagram, I think I'm Matthew J_R or Rio, something like that. MATT, not one T.
2 T's.
Yeah, 2 T's, not 1 T, you bastards. I also don't really post all that often, and I've definitely pulled back on Twitter, so I don't do much there. But if I do make any announcements, they'll definitely be there. Also on Facebook, but I don't have like a group page. It's just don't find me on Facebook. Don't be on Facebook. All right. I think that's it. If there's anything else that I have to put in, I'll put it in while I'm editing.
All right.
All right.
How do we say goodbye?
Most people have a way to sign off. I don't. Actually, I've put so much thought into the intro. I didn't think about an outro. I don't know what to say.
The never-ending podcast.
And now there's another fucking helicopter.
Oh man, is it gonna go right over?
It goes right over all the time.
Yeah, that's true. It really it vibrates
and
too.
it
You
shakes.
feel the
Yeah,
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
this thing, the mic has been shaking. Thank God for the shock mount because the mic has been shaking this entire time.
Good lord.
Shit.
We could say this has been a hill to die on, or thank you for listening to our hill.
I don't know about that second one. Yeah, I like that last one. It's simple and it's basic. It'll work for now.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. This has been A Hill to Die On with Matthew, and
Alessandro.
hopefully we will see you in the next episode.